A flash gun is a handy tool, but it can often be like using a sledgehammer to crack a nut. Fortunately, there are a wide range of accessories and techniques for turning the bright glare of a flash into a subtle, more creative effect. The flash accessory with the most unusual name has to be the snoot. A snoot is essentially just a long tube or funnel that attaches to your flash gun. And what it does is to convert the flash from a floodlight into a spotlight, picking out just a small area of the scene. Even though most add-on guns have a zoom head that allows you to narrow the spread of light, the gun will still light up the majority of the frame if left to its own devices. If the background is not too close, the wide coverage of the flash tube is not an issue, as the light power falls off sharply with distance. But if the background is just behind the subject, the backdrop becomes as well lit as the person. The result is a cold, analytical shot that lacks any atmosphere. But use a snoot and just the person's face is lit, creating a much more theatrical effect. Commercially made snoots are available. This one is from the Interfit Strobe range, is made out of metal and fits to the front of your flash gun using a push-on adapter. A more portable alternative is the Flash Bender from Rogue. Made of reinforced nylon, this wraps around your flash and is held in place with a built-in Velcro strap. You can use a snoot with the flash attached to the hotshoe, but you will get a more dramatic side-lit effect if you take your flash off the camera and then fire it using a wireless trigger or using a good old-fashioned sync cord. I usually set things to manual with off-camera flash, but this is pretty much essential with the snoot, as your camera's meter won't be able to tell you only want to light and expose for just a small part of the scene. I'm going to start off my Nikon D800 set to M with an exposure of 1/125th of a second at f5.6 at ISO 200. If I take a shot without the flash, I can quickly check if this is going to make the surrounding background dark enough for my final picture, and adjust the settings up and down accordingly. The actual settings you use will vary with the ambient light. This technique works equally well indoors and out, and can even be used in relatively bright light. Now for the flash. I'm using my Nikon SB900 with the power set to 1/8. I'm using a Harnell trigger to ensure the flash goes off when I fire the shutter. And for convenience, I put my flash gun on a tripod to hold it in position so it lights the right part of my model. Let's take a few test shots to see if it's working. Part of the knack of getting a snoot shot to work is to line up the flash and the snoot to create the right size pool of light in precisely the right part of the frame. So you need to experiment to get the right result. And you may need to adjust the flash power up or down to make sure your face is not too dark or too light. Now that's looking good. And just to show you how much the snoot has altered the scene, let's take a shot with and without it in place. Now that's what I call a dramatic improvement. You don't need to buy a snoot, of course. I have used rolled up magazines or a piece of cardboard as an impromptu light funnel when I've been out on assignment in the past. And these can work just as well. If you want something slightly more permanent and less fiddly, this tube of potato chips does a decent job once customised to shape with a pair of scissors and some gaffer tape. A snoot provides a soft edge ring of light, but if you want to restrict the spread of a flash some more, they can be used with a device known as a honeycomb or a grid. These are made up of hundreds of little tubes that channel the light a little more directly than the snoot on its own. This is the grid for the Rogue Flash Bender, and this is the one for the Interfit Strobe system. If you want to add a grid to your homemade snoot, drinking straws cut down to size and bundled together can do the trick perfectly.